Welcome to Monkey Bullshit. Monkey Bullshit is a place where I call bullshit on anything I deem hypocritical or just plain unbalanced. One of the biggest things we have in America that's quite hypocritical, quite unbalanced is white supremacy. So on this episode, we're going to take on the Good Patriot.
I think Kim Kardashian is trying to become a Navy SEAL. Go! Do you like it? Yes, it looks so natural. Hot damn.
What the hell is that? Look, that is a badass beat.
Hi. Or bad. There we go.
I was fortunate to have a friend send me over the Good Patriots video, Never Apologize, or actually I think it's We Should Never Apologize for Our Race. It's a defense of their position, their non-racist position from a racist perspective, right? It's them saying that they're not racist, that they don't do anything racist, that they don't have to defend them being racist because they don't do anything racist, all while discussing race. Even the video is called We Should Never Apologize for Our Race. It's important for me to make this distinction right off the bat. When I'm talking about white supremacy, I'm talking about something within white culture, not something that's inherent in all white people. First, I don't even believe that there is a such thing as white people because there's no white landia. So when we're discussing white supremacy, we're not discussing something from the perspective of white people, but something from the perspective of white culture. It's white culture that is benefiting from white supremacy, the belief that anything white is right. Right? That there are people who are chosen or exceptional, and then there are people who are not chosen, who are not worthy, who don't deserve any sympathy or empathy. Even in the name Good Patriot, it insinuates that there are bad patriots, that they are inherently good, and that everyone else is inherently not good.
Hi, America. I'm Good Patriot, and I'm a racist piece of trash. Well, not a regular racist. I'm actually a subconscious racist. I'm so racist that I don't even know how racist I am, or at least that's what I've been told.
Do I detect a note of sarcasm?
Are you kidding me? This baby is off the charts.
Notice that I said to my fellow Americans, not los inmigrantes ilegales.
Now, did you notice that she really just came right out in her sarcasm and actually said what was true? That she is a subconscious racist. Now, again, when I say racist, I don't mean someone who is simply a member of the KKK, a skinhead or something like that. I'm speaking of someone who is upholding the power structure. Upholding a power structure that oppresses people and then deny that it even exists. This is what makes someone like the Good Patriot racist.
And number two, as a white person, I need to validate the existence of black people by saying the magic words, Black Lives Matter. Saying that actually shows that I think that my white opinion is superior and is needed to validate a black person's existence and worth. And black people acknowledging that they need to hear it from me is actually saying that they find their worth in my white opinion. But let's just ignore all the mental gymnastics of that and just say it anyway.
Now, the magic words.
Black Lives Matter.
Whew. Black Lives Matter. Now, listen to the mental gymnastics right there. Right? I'm not even going to tackle what she said. I mean, I think it's pretty clear about the superior positioning here. And why do I say that? Because they set up the framework that's misinformed. This is bullshit. And then they act as if that is what we're saying or what we believe. Let's take this in the sense to say people are saying that it's important for white people to say Black Lives Matter so that it validates our existence. No, no, no. We don't want you to say Black Lives Matter. We want you to understand that Black Lives Matter, and in that know that words have meaning. And the meaning of this hashtag or of these words is police brutality. Police brutalizing black and brown people, citizens, individuals. There is this thing called systematic racism that we have been continuously pointing out since I can remember. I do know that my mother rioted in 1968. I know that my generation rioted in 1992. And I know this generation is currently in an uprising right now. Now, it's not even to say that they're all riots as much as they're just truly protests against a monkey bullshit system.
Okay, let's cut the crap and get down to business. I haven't heard one person say that George Floyd's death was an unjust and tragic, and I have not seen any evidence that there's a racial motivation behind his death.
Race is a recurring theme in the Justice Department report. Investigators finding routinely abusive behavior within CPD, especially toward Black and Latino residents of Chicago's most challenged neighborhoods. DOJ stating that Chicago residents reported treatment so demeaning they felt dehumanized. One Black resident told us that when it comes to CPD, there is no treating you as a human being.
The Department of Justice not only identified problems within the department, it also offered solutions. They include developing training to improve officer interactions with people who are in crisis, adopting use of force practices to minimize the use of force by police. But if force is used, the DOJ calls for changing the process for reporting and reviewing those cases. And the department is urged to change how officers are held accountable and improve police oversight.
But the media told you to feel bad, to get mad, and that it was okay to do stupid things because you've had years of anger and oppression built up. They lied, and you believed it. Why haven't you been mad at the dozen or two blacks killed in Chicago for the 57th weekend in a row?
Distract, right? Oh, why don't you care about what's happening in Chicago? Why don't you care about the evidence that the Department of Justice found out that's happening in Chicago's police department that may be contributing to the fact that there's this lawlessness happening in Chicago? This is simply a game of blame the victim and deny their oppression.
And then the media tells you to be mad about it. Are you recognizing a pattern here? The media owns you. They tell you how to think and how to feel.
But we know this. No matter what they tell you, it has very little to do with Black lives, if only it did. If Democratic leaders cared about saving the lives of Black people, and they should, they wouldn't ignore the murder of thousands of young Black men in their cities every year. They wouldn't put abortion clinics in Black neighborhoods.
If you really cared about brown and Black lives, you would bring down Planned Parenthood.
Now, I want to take this moment to really talk about this fake news narrative. Right? There is some truth into that. That today our news is ran by corporations. And before, in the time of Walter Cronkite, news was a public service. It was something that broadcasters had to do as a public service. They had to disseminate the news to tell people what was going on. And in that time, they had something called the Fairness Doctrine. The Fairness Doctrine made it so that we could not have a Fox News and a MSNBC, a liberal and a conservative news channel. They both always had to exist on the very same channel. Both positions had to be discussed because they were equal. They needed to both be heard. But here today, you have these right-wing individuals, such as the Good Patriot, who will demonize other people simply because they're on the left. And what they do is that they other them so that they can dehumanize them. They can talk about them as if they're not people.
This is a tragic death used by the higher-ups to bring destruction and division, and you were falling right into it.
And it is something that I hope for the Black Americans that are watching will stick with you for the rest of your life. Shelby Steele said that the Black community is unique from other communities. Our culture is unique from other communities because we are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society. Now, let me explain what that means. It means to say that not every Black American is a criminal, not every Black American is committing crimes, but we are unique in that we are the only people that fight and scream and demand support and justice for the people in our community that are up to no good. You will be hard-pressed to find this in white America. You will be hard-pressed to find this in white America. You will be hard-pressed to find this in white America. You will be hard-pressed to find this in white America. You will be hard-pressed to find this in white America. You will be hard.
This is a tragic death used by the higher-ups to bring destruction and division, and you were falling right into it.
Now, she is supposed to be, supposedly talking to the Black community. Now, we know definitely she's not. She's talking directly to her friends. But she's basically telling her friends what's happening because they're the ones being programmed with fear, anger, and hatred, as you just saw in that video of these All Lives Matter protesters kneeling on another human being and saying, this is what George Floyd gets. This is what he gets. Like, they were Trump supporters. The higher-ups that she's talking about, that is programming them, the media that she's talking about that's programming them, that's all what's happening in Fox News with the All Lives Matter. That's all what's happening with Trump, who is cheerleading this fear and this hatred. And in their cheering this fear and this hatred, 2 men lost their jobs. Most likely will lose so much more as their names are now out there in the media. Their families are affected. Their children are affected. These men's lives are effectively destroyed because of white supremacy. They're destroyed because of what this woman just said, that they're being programmed to hate. And you can see this in the intellectual dishonesty of Candace Owens, who got her black face up there to say that it is only the Black community that would defend people who are up to no good in the community. I could swear Trump defended Nazis. Now, of course, they're going to say that he said something else the next day, but we don't fall for that monkey bullshit. We just saw these men defending the police officer who kneeled on Mr. Floyd and killed him. Those are all examples of the white community, Miss Owens.